Another update on the 280C rally car build. From last video update, what I've changed is the suspension. I lifted the car using coilovers and the Apex Engineering control arms, and you can see the ride height, it's much higher than my, this is not a stock, but it's not much lower than a stock 280CX, and you can see the height difference. The, how do you call that, the 280C is now sitting at about 11.5 inches in the front and 12 inches in the back of clearance. But there's still a lot more tuning that needs to be done and tweaking. I have to work a lot more in that, but this is just the first stage. If you look at it from the side, it does look more like a rally car than before, and the back end, clearly big difference between both of them. I really like the look from the back. You can see that suspension still looks like the wheels are kind of inwards. There's still room for adjustments with those Apex Engineering arms. It's just that I need to do it with the vehicle lifted and probably with the arms out of the way, because there's just no way to adjust it while being mounted on the vehicle. Since I was removing the original arms, I painted gold the brackets that hold the differential, just because. And you can see the coilovers are not fully welded yet. They're just tagged, and it was because I wasn't sure if this was going to work. That idea that I had to instead of weld it all the way at the bottom, kind of give it a couple inches of height, because I was not sure if the length of the coilover adjustment was going to be enough to give it the lift that I wanted, and it wasn't. So I'm glad I did not cut it all the way down. I might have to build some kind of sleeve to fit it in there to give it the rigidity that it was supposed to have by design from BC Engineering. Suspension to be welded right here at the thick bottom of the spindle, I guess you can call it. So I need to reinforce that area. I'm not too concerned about it. It shouldn't see too much stress in torsion. It's only in compression, and most of the torsion coming from hits on the wheel are being taken by these two arms on the lower control arm. Same thing in the front. In fact, I'd rather have more material of the threaded type inside of the housing than not, because in the past I've seen failures on these welded coilovers where it breaks in the middle where there's no threaded material. So I think and I hope here that I'm doing the right decision, but we'll see eventually. Internally, we painted the interior after we fixed all the metal that was welded. There was a lot of chunks that were gone. I don't know if you have seen the other videos, but it makes it look a lot cleaner. It also helps find any issues with the car, any oil leaks or else. It makes it quite easy to spot them. The seats, I had to build seat brackets for this for the two seats, because the original the few that they sell for the 280Cs, they put you quite high, and my wife, which is my co-pilot, she's higher than 6 feet, so I wanted to drop her as slow as possible and also throw her as back as possible if I could, to kind of give her the best chance of not hitting the roll cage when I build that roll cage, because it's not there yet. The only issue is gonna be the clearance right behind it, where I wanted to build a plate for the tube to go up. That's gonna be tight now with the seat so far back. I'm gonna have to figure that out eventually. The floor also was painted white. It's all dirty because I've been working on the seats, but you can see the old patch that where there was a hole Now at least it's covered and painted, looks cleaner. The same thing on the driver's side. The bracket is also homemade, I guess you can say. I haven't bolted this one, still loose, but this one is more center and forward. I'm not that tall as her, so I do have a lot of space to put the roll cage here. What else we done here? The idea for the roll cage is to put 1/7/8 120 wall for the main frame. This is based on the FIA rules for the Dakar Classics class, and the supporting or extra tubes that are not part of the main cage, and just, for example, the door bars and the cross members on the X on the roof, they can be done out of a 1.5 by 120 wall. Let's see. Oh, the suspension, you can see here in the front, it's it can go higher, or at least, I mean, it can go wider, which is what I want, but I'm being limited right now by the tie rod. It's already maxed out. I think it's only 5 or 6 threads in, which doesn't give me much confidence, so I might have to buy the Apex Engineering arms they sell to kind of get the maximum thread engagement that I can while still being as wide as possible. The width, I want the width because the more I lift this coilover, or I guess the more I extend it to gain lift, the more my tire starts to oh, look, the sun is kind of blocking you. The more I extend the coilover, the more the tire tends to lean inwards, right? Because the arm becomes too short. So that's why I have to compensate by extending it. And this one is pretty nice. It has a bunch of thread left to give me that extension that I need, just limited by the tire rod. So we'll get to it when the time comes. You can see from the back, it also, this track bar or torque bar, it's adjustable too. Obviously not torqued yet because I'm still trying to figure it out. The points that I wanted. You can see all the rust repair that I had done at the bottom. I painted it with this undercoating paint. It looks pretty beefy. We'll see if it holds all the rocks and debris that will land on this as it goes through dirt roads and just rally car crap. I painted the whole bottom. Obviously the sun doesn't help, and me recording from my phone, it's not the best quality video, but it's been all painted, all the metal that was repaired. So all of this unibody frame, as you can see by the ugly welds, they're solid though, but they're not the prettiest. It's been repaired. Same thing with some of these lines and some of the areas down here, but now they're covered with the paint, so kind of camouflages. And same thing on the other side. On the top side, as you can see, I'm trying to debate if I want to paint the whole frame white, because the car will eventually be white, so it would be nice if everything was white. It's just some more repairs that were done early on. Same thing on the other side, more repairs, internal, both of them. Same thing with the flooring, all this. Oh yeah, there we go. This rocker had to be rebuilt. Oh man, the sun kind of screws up with the camera. And here there was a lot more repair on this side on the other, especially here in the back. If you remember, this panel was completely gone. It looked like this car got hit in this direction, and this was trash. Plus the rust, it was impossible for me to recreate it with the limited tools that I have. So I had to buy this piece. It wasn't too bad. I think it was like 80 bucks or 70 bucks, and makes my life a lot easier not having to make it. Same thing with that one back there. There was so much rust, corroded so high that I had to buy that piece. Again, I don't have the tools to make that, so Those are the only two pieces that I had to buy, just because I did not have all the tools and I wasn't gonna do anything close to a good job of trying to recreate that. I did have to recreate this surface here. As you can tell, it's not perfect, but it's pretty damn close. Bondo might be able to seal it up here, the welds. I didn't want to grind too much because then I'm making the extra, well, not the extra, the outer material too thin, right? And that's just gonna lead us to problems. So I left it ugly. It's all internal, like pitted, so it will be easy to fill it up with Bondo. And at least I'm now weakening the outer material from the original body panels. But yeah, it's not rust free and it looks decent, or it has its original shape at least. Same thing with the rocker. I had to redo this rocker. You can see by the light reflection it's not perfect, but hey, I'm impressed with my abilities to bend the metal to almost get that shape. It's pretty close to original. I don't think nobody's gonna be able to tell. Plus I have a feeling that I'm gonna hit with rocks and shit and eventually it's gonna deform, so I'll take it. Down here, this is new metal. As you can see, this is the back end of the unibody that I have to reconstruct, and I painted it to kind of prevent it from rusting and hopefully to kind of disappear into, if somebody comes here and look, I don't want them to look at my ugly welds. So there it is. That's the body now, fully rust free. Really happy with that. You can see from this angle the suspension, that's the passenger rear side. Here's the driver side, not a good angle. Painted this cross member for the differential, the front side of the differential, painted it gold just because it looks cool. Next part of the project will be to weld all the coilovers now that I like this height. As you can see, this one is also not finished welding. I actually thought about, I drill these holes on the coilovers to weld them as a spot weld, I guess you can say, since I was not going to go all the way to the bottom like it was originally designed for, to be welded down here. I decided to weld these holes to try to give this shaft inside of a shaft, so this shaft inside of this one, with 2 points of joint or contact, more chances of success of holding on in case there's torsion in either direction, due to the fact that they're not perfect match. 50 millimeters, I believe it is the diameter of the inner pipe, this inner tube. So it is almost a perfect fit, but it's not perfect. So by giving it 2 points in that direction, I guess you can call it the Y direction, it will be a lot stronger than just a single bead of weld and the potential flexing that it's gonna get, because that might cause some fatigue fractures and eventually a failure. So yeah, we'll see if that holds on. I might do the same as in the back, put some reinforcement sleeve or just couple 3/16 sheets of, not sheets, but I don't know how to call it, like a vein, a couple of veins, to give this an extra chance of being structurally strong enough to take some of those loads. Most of the loads that will put pressure in that direction of the shaft that I was explaining will probably be taken care of by this guy, but still it's important to try to make that strong as possible. Again, this is, I was trying to raise the point of weld to try to get as much penetration of this threaded part into this housing, because the failures that I've seen in the past was where this threaded part ends, pretend that it ends somewhere right here, and then the housing breaks right here. So I was trying to get as much of this in here. Also, the fact that this is right in the middle of the coilover is probably going to see the strongest forces of stress. versus this section right here. So I'd rather put quotation on the weak side down here than here. We'll see if my bets are in the right place. You can see these patches, more patches of where the rust used to be. Same here. Sorry for the camera. I'll get my caliper out of the way. This is under the driver's side. Let me show you the huge hole that used to be there. You can see it's a huge patch. This is all the floor under the driver's side pedals. It used to be a massive hole. At least now it's all patched, and it's been welded. It's hard to tell on the camera, but it's been welded along little dots along the unibody frame. I wish I could show you the brackets for the seats, but they're mounted. They were made out of steel 3.2 millimeters, which is I think 1/8 English units, and that's enough to satisfy the FIA regulations for that class at least. Next step for the engine, I already bought, and it's actually inside of the house, but I need to work on installing a fuel management system that removes the need of the old intake air mass flow sensor that used to be here. I still have it, but I think it's working intermittently, and it also removes these old school sensors that I don't need. Plus it also comes with new wiring harness for all the injectors. Mine are all broken. You can see plastic is so old. All of them have the same failure mode where it breaks right at the clip area. You can see the little clip, it's just hanging loose down there. All of my, here we go, it's just loose because the bottom half is broken. All of my injectors have that problem. I started to remove the coolant line that used to go from the water pump up into the intake for whatever reason. So now I removed that and I blocked it, and same thing, that coolant line that used to come out here for the heater core, both lines, one used to go here and the other one used to go to the front where I was showing you, because I don't plan to use the heater. So now they're blocked, and I'm still debating if I want to buy an exhaust manifold. There's, as you know, in the internet, everybody says too many things. Some people claim that this manifold is just fine. Some others say just get a tube manifold. Some people say it's heavier. I don't know what I'm doing just yet. I gotta get this engine running properly first, and then I'll probably figure out how to improve performance. You can see while mounting the coilovers here, I had to kind of grind off. There was a little, it's hard to tell anymore, but you can see the old silhouette. There used to be like a little cup that will make this circle look tiny, and it wasn't enough to clear the knob for the coilover. And also had to widen this size to be able to reach those nuts in case they come loose, or if I need to adjust the suspension. Same thing on the back, exactly the same thing, had to be cut out and extended. Same thing on the other side. Yeah, going back to the engine, we'll see what I end up doing with that situation. I deleted the EGR valve because it was pointless. I welded the video, you'll not be able to see it. Let me see if I can take the camera. Here we go. I welded shut that port that was coming out of the exhaust manifold, and I don't need it, so makes the engine look a little bit cleaner. There was a lot of messes here with a vacuum actuated valve, and it's not there no more. Also, right here there used to be oh man, what's the name, the cruise control actuated mechanism used to push in or pull, I think, on this lever, which is the throttle. So none of that crap. Started to remove the emissions. I don't know how to call that. The evap, the one that collects the fumes from the tank and then it kind of feeds them back into the engine. They used to go right here. I removed that thing and also a few of the lines that used to go to the intake. This first generation of fuel injected L28 engines, they're a mess. It's just hoses and vacuum actuating devices everywhere. You can see still the leftover hose that comes from the tank, and it used to go here. Let's see what else we've been doing. I think that's pretty much it for the updates. I will stop this video now and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.